In April 1973, astronauts were halfway to the moon when a sudden explosion ripped through their spacecraft. Lights went out, alarms screamed, and within seconds they realized the most terrifying truth. They were no longer on a mission to land on the moon. They were fighting just to survive. This became NASA's most dangerous moment. The mission the world now knows as Apollo 13. Apollo 13 launched on April 11, 1970, with astronauts Jim Lovell, Jack Swigert, and Fred Hayes. It was supposed to be NASA's third moon landing, and everything looked perfect at first. The rocket climbed into space, separated smoothly, and began its long journey. The crew was relaxed, even filming their daily life in space. It was so calm that many TV stations didn't even broadcast their show. No one knew that in just a few hours, the entire world would be watching. 55 hours after launch, Jack Swigert was asked to perform a routine task: stir the liquid oxygen tanks. It was something astronauts had done many times without any trouble. But when he flipped the switch, a small spark inside the tank caused a massive explosion. The astronauts heard a loud bang, the spacecraft shook violently, and warning lights flashed everywhere. Jim Lovell looked out the window and saw something terrifying. Their oxygen was venting out into space. That was when he spoke one of the most famous lines in NASA history: "Houston, we've had a problem." Inside the spacecraft, the situation was getting worse by the second. Oxygen wasn't just for breathing. It powered the fuel cells that produced electricity and water. Without oxygen, they would lose power, heat, and everything they needed to stay alive. Mission Control in Houston quickly realized the lunar module, nicknamed the LM, would have to become a lifeboat. The moon landing was cancelled. The only mission now was to bring the astronauts home alive. But there was a problem. The lunar module was designed for 2 people, not 3, and it was meant to support life for only 45 hours, not the 4 days they needed to get back to Earth. With their home planet still hundreds of thousands of kilometers away, they had no choice. The astronauts shut down the main spacecraft to save its remaining power and moved into the smaller lunar module. It was crowded, freezing, and they were running out of everything. Temperatures dropped so low that the astronauts could see their own breath in the air. Water was rationed to just a few sips per day. Every decision had to be perfect. Meanwhile, engineers on the ground worked day and night to solve one problem after another. One of the biggest threats was the rising carbon dioxide from their breathing. The lunar module's filters couldn't clean the air fast enough for 3 people. The crew had to somehow fit the square filters from the main command module into the round holes of the lunar module S system. In a brilliant feat of ingenuity, NASA's engineers invented a solution using only what the astronauts had on board: plastic bags, duct tape, and cardboard. With calm hands and incredible teamwork, the crew built the strange-looking device and saved themselves from suffocating. As Apollo 13 finally approached Earth, another huge challenge awaited. The crew had shut down all the main systems, and now they had to turn everything back on using only a tiny amount of battery power, less than what you'd need to run a hairdryer. They followed a carefully written checklist from Mission Control, executing every step perfectly. Then came the final nail-biting moment. The spacecraft separated from its damaged service module and prepared to enter Earth's atmosphere. Looking out the window, the astronauts could see the burnt, broken remains of their ship drifting away. During re-entry, communication with Earth always cuts out for a few minutes. But for Apollo 13, the silence lasted longer than expected. The world held its breath. Newspapers had already printed headlines expecting the worst. But then, through the static, a voice finally came through. The astronauts were alive, their parachutes deployed, and Apollo 13 splashed safely into the Pacific Ocean. The crew was rescued and brought home to a hero's welcome. Apollo 13 is remembered today not as a failed mission, but as NASA's finest hour. It proved that, even in the face of disaster, human teamwork, intelligence, and courage can achieve miracles. It is the incredible story of how a moon mission turned into one of history, its greatest rescuer moment, that united millions of people and showed what humanity can do when everything seems lost. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as incredible as I do, please like this video and subscribe for more amazing stories from history.